I did the one time. How's your day been though? Good.
Yeah, it's been good. Mostly just chilling at home working. Uh, Went on a little run this morning. That was nice.
Ooh, big running guy.
Yeah, I try to run most mornings, unless I get a late start to it.
True. It's
I
one thing I've
prefer
never
that.
been able to do.
Yeah, I just prefer like running outside to like going to the gym in my apartment building.
That's definitely fair. Yeah, I do think it's a lot better with like kind of having, I guess, an endpoint to a degree, where it's like, okay, I just kind of do the circuit rather than being like, okay, up, down on the treadmill, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I'm trying to take advantage of it now. While it's before it's cold as hell in Boston.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like fun.
Yeah, no.
How you put up with the cold, I will never know. What's up, Derek? But yeah, we'll give him a second to pop in here for those that want to see their team rated and so on.
Sounds good. For those of you that are just joining in, to get your team rated on this live stream, go to the Discord, which the link for is in the bio, and DM me at Jamario Moon with screenshots of your team, and I'll get you all set up.
You're dropping Daniel Jones. It's definitely fair. I mean, the offensive line looked terrible. He might end up being a start candidate for me again this week, though. We will see. We will see. That was also just insane. Like, 11 sacks.
I know, it's crazy. I don't. You think he's a start candidate for you against the Dolphins?
If they have the offensive line, like, then I'm interested. But if they don't, then I think they're just going to trample it over. We got Derek in here saying, Jamario the man, thank you, my good man, with this emoji.
Appreciate you, Derek.
Let's see here. What's up, Bill? But yeah. Um, this is going to be a very interesting week. What's up, Doug Dimmadome? How you doing? I don't know. Like, it's just kind of weird. This is a more weird week now because we have buys and so on factoring into this. You're tragic. You got second team. Right on. So we've got a little over 20 people now, so we'll hop into it here. So looking at the first team, Darren Waller riding the bench. Fair enough. Jalen Hurts, Jacoby Myers, Amon St. Brown, Brian Robinson, Bijan Robinson, Sam Laporta, Isaiah Pacheco. And then a bench here that seems pretty stacked. Got DK on the bench. That's crazy. I just feel like looking at this team, it's a very good team, but like I don't see why DK Metcalf isn't starting. Oh wait, never mind. I just completely forgot they're on a bye. Yep, that makes a lot more sense now. I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's optimal for this week, and you've got a bunch of buys as well. I still got to process that. Let's see. You need some CPR for a dynasty. That's fair. Yeah. Overall, it's a solid team. Like you're optimizing accordingly for this week. You can't start Cortland Sutton. I don't know. What would you do with this team here?
I like it a lot. I mean, in general, outside of start sits for this week, I feel like it's a little bit too deep. Like you don't really have any room to drop any players on the back end. So I think you could definitely, or pick up players on the back end. So I think you could do a 2-for-1 and try to upgrade your team a little bit.
Yeah. Like it's just a very decent team overall. Like in theory, you need a better end receiver, like wide receiver too. Like that's kind of the only thing I can see as well. Like it's just solid overall. Yeah, I don't have too much else
Solid.
to say.
Yeah,
But,
no, it's for sure it's solid.
but yes, as for the seventh time, we'll say it once again, solid. Um, but moving on to the next team here, we got no problem, Derek. Happy to help. We got Kirko Two Chains. We got James Conner, James Cook, Devontae Smith, Watson Hawkinson, Brian Robinson. Very strong here. You got David Montgomery on the bench. That's interesting to me. Um, and Jerome Ford with the bye. And Damian Pierce also like you're very strong at running back here, which is like you're looking for like consistent points. It seems like, but this is a spot where I would try to like build for a higher end wide receiver than like Christian Watson and Devontae Smith. I think they're very strong, but like there's just so many great running backs on this team that like you can just really start tearing this up a second further. Like I'm just trying to think like you can really just do a 2-for-1 with like Christian Watson and improve that if you wanted. Like David Montgomery can be traded on this team, and I think he's a stronger start really than James Conner this week. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I would totally agree. I don't think right now, at this point in the season, Christian Watson is a viable option for wide receiver two. I think it's going to take a while for Love to start targeting him, uh, you know, more often than Dobbs or Jaden Reed. So I would look to trade for a better wide receiver two behind Devontae.
Yeah, like that's the only spot that seems like it could be kind of inconsistent, and like Tank Dell I think helped you out a lot in those times where you really needed someone to step up, which is great. But like you just have so much running back depth. Like Jonathan Taylor sitting on IR here as well. Like you can really spare yourself a few running backs and like turn this team into a true super team. I like it as a whole overall. Like there's just a lot of depth at running back that you can really pivot out of to get like turn this into a super team. Would you buy low
For
on Chris
sure.
Olave right now? My only concern is like the shoulder injury that or whatever it is that Derek Carr has right now, and how that might linger. He's definitely somebody that's sitting as like a buy low candidate though. Amari Cooper would not be a bad target as well. Um, but like, curious your thoughts.
Yeah, I prefer targeting Amari right now. I think he's got a good stretch of games ahead of him, and him having a bye week, people could be looking to shop him a little bit if you get in the right situation. I honestly don't mind buying low on Olave either. Big fan of Jameis, so
Yeah,
worst comes to worst, we got bro.
yeah. Chris Godwin's honestly an intriguing buy right now because of the whole Mike Evans situation with the hamstring. I want to say it was like 9 for 95 or something like that this past weekend. So we're going to be seeing a lot more volume focused his way, which is going to make an overall increase. No one you can really sell for like equitable. You could probably sell a couple of these pieces in theory for even value. Uh, but like I would just be trying to build up wide receiver for more upside. Your running backs are very strong, in which case it's like okay, maybe like take David Montgomery and like another one of these running backs. I'm not gonna like list any of them because really James Conner, James Cook, and like Brian Robinson are all in a very similar tier. And like try to go get Austin Eckler right now because like once you have like Jonathan Taylor back, like that's just going to be a very very strong team at the running back position. Kirk Cousins is more than fine. You flex defense, which is great, but like I don't know. It's just like you have. I guess the without kind of babbling on further and becoming a D1 yapper, is like you're just so strong from like a depth standpoint. It's just like trying to do 2-for-1s really takes you to that next step to where you can get like a higher echelon player like Saquon Barkley. The guy who's that is like just not great. For those asking how to get your team rated on this stream, you just join the Discord. The link to that is in the bio. And then you DM Jackson here at Jamario Moon, and it'll tell you exactly how to get your team rated. And we'll likely be able to fit you in this stream. But happy birthday, Liv. Happy birthday. But yeah, like without continuing the yapping, like it's just a strong team. There's nothing really too crazy to say about it. Sorry, that went past one. Oh no, we're fine there. Like I would just try to take 2-for-1s on like players that you know are just statistically great and hold that value. Like you could potentially Josh Jacobs' value spiked this weekend. I'd be trying to maybe even get like Brees Hall in some packages with a wide receiver, depending upon if that team needs running backs. Because like I think Brees Hall is going to be great this week specifically. Is Cooper
Yeah,
Cup going to
definitely.
play? Yeah, I have no idea. They haven't really said much. Um, but let's see here. Let's see here. Why is this? Why is that? Okay, interesting.
Tough
Um,
QB situation
yeah,
this week.
because you don't have Deshaun Watson either for this specific week. Left. I don't know what's going on with this stuff here. My computadore. Weird. Sorry, I need to fix something real quick over here. I'll be all good.
I mean, your team is really strong. The bench could be a little bit better. I think you could drop Jahan Dotson, maybe even drop Kadarius Toney. But other than that, I mean, you have Jonathan Taylor, who's going to be coming back soon, Cooper Kupp, who's going to be coming back very soon as well. Um, what do you think, Wells?
Well, they keep asking here. So it should be in the bio right there. It should just say the Discord, but you guys just join there. It's entirely free, and then you DM our guy Jackson here at Jamario Moon. His Discord handle is at Jamario Moon, and he'll tell you exactly how to get your team on here. But going back to what he was saying about this specific team, it's a very, very strong, deep team. It's a big question of like how does Jonathan Taylor return to form? How does Cooper Kupp return to form? Kenny Pickett is just 100% droppable. Like he just sucks. Go get C.J. Stroud for this week. He's fine. Jordan Love is fine if he's on waivers. Matthew Stafford's also a little bit intriguing. I don't know. And like to your Mom's Refrigerator's point here, like the 1-for-2s are for more depth. It's not a bad idea. That's all you're really looking for when you're doing 2-for-1s as well. Is like it just gives you more ability to have depth on your roster. But like Jalen Warren, I feel like you can have a better flex than him. There's nobody really that screams on the bench as like a piece that people really want right now. Like there's a lot of upside, but it's not really that great. There's only 5 QBs that are available. Interesting. Yeah, no, like this team's fine. It's just like you said, like the flex could use a lot more work.
I feel like they're also in a position where if they like the flex could really use work, and I feel like they could even make a 2-for-1 trade downsizing. Like,
yeah, and that's what he's asking, I think here.
Yeah,
I don't mind
I think
picking
that's a
up
good
Dobbs
idea.
or Howell this week. I think both are fine. I think Howell might be a little better, but overall, like this team could easily be like it's a 14 minutes so hard to get depth. That's fair. Like it's still a very strong team. Like you're pointing out, like there's gonna be weeks where this team is just absolutely decimating people. But 14 man, 2 flex, it's a lot. Hopefully that was helpful. So you DM Jamaro? Yes, you DM Jamario, and he'll get back to you on exactly how it is. What do you do after you join the Discord, Ben? So you, this is Jackson. So everyone say hi to Jackson. Hi, Jackson.
Hi, everyone.
And you DM him at Jamario Moon, and he'll tell you exactly. Jamaro is Jamario. Jamario. So like Ja Morant, and then combine that with Mario, like from the video game. But they all say hi. But what should you do with Kincaid? I mean, in theory, he's going to get more involved as the season progresses, but he will tell you exactly how to get your team on here. Let's see here. Brees or Madison. I think Brees is going to go nuclear this week, Jay, to be honest with you. But hopefully that was helpful in some fashion. You don't want 2 tight ends. The unfortunate part for you is that, like, Dalton Kincaid didn't really, like, pan out to that zenith that everyone expected him to, which is, like, hard. Like, Jahan Dotson might have a spike week here in Chicago, in which case that's 2 back-to-back games where he's getting, like, touchdowns and so on, and he's, so to speak, more relevant. I do think he'll get better as the season progresses, but like he could end up being packaged in one of those 2-for-1 type deals to improve this flex. Let's see here. Yeah, that would be my thought process as well, as trying to flip out of Dotson, because I do think he's going to have more appeal as time progresses. But anyways, enough yapping from me here. We'll move on to the next one. Justin Herbert, or Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Robert Woods is great, but the reason he's in there is because of blocking work specifically. Like, it's a very small thing, but I really like chemistry and how things work with that, and the fact that John Mechie and Tank Dell are the only 2 receivers eating dinner like every single day with C.J. Stroud, I think is going to speak volumes as we progress throughout the season. But looking at this specifically here, we got Justin Herbert, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amari Cooper, DJ Moore. This looks like a team I would draft based off of my preseason thought process. Patriots defense, Moody, Kirk. I would be selling Kirk high. This is just a very good team with really, really strong depth. Unfortunately, no one wants to be buying Jahmyr Gibbs, even though like he could have a great week this week, and then all of a sudden the market's just entirely back in on him. I try to be going for something a little more sustainable than Alexander Madison. I think he's fine, but I have reservations at this point. I think you could potentially find a way to trade for Tony Pollard or Austin Eckler, but like it's a bit of a stretch. No one wants Daniel Jones, unfortunately. Jerry Jeudy has not proved that he can do anything. People, I think, want Ayuk. Um, let's see here.
People definitely take Kirk right now too.
Yeah. Like, I would be trying to sell high on Kirk and Ayuk for a package to, like, improve your flex specifically. That's the only thing I can
Today,
really advise here.
today in one of my leagues, I traded Kirk and Flowers for DK.
Hey. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's fine. Like, it's all about this. We're gonna be doing this probably through about 30 teams, or until like we get to a point where Jackson's been annoyed with my yapping. Um, but one of the two. Overall, it's a very solid team. Like, you're just gonna be inconsistent in the wide receiver room more than anything right now. In which case, that helps you with what kind of advice we're giving you for the flex. I do think that Garrett Wilson is actually going to be better with Zach Wilson than I think expected. So I'm kind of excited to see where that goes for them. But solid team. Brandon Ayuk isn't really a sell high for me, but I'm not opposed to using him in a trade package. Amari Cooper is obviously going to be sitting some days. DJ Moore's been looking a lot better, but I also just look at that as like that was the Broncos defense, and like they're just awful somehow. Um, and then I really like Brian Robinson. So like the pieces to theoretically highlight here would be Brian Robinson, Christian Kirk, and potentially Brandon Ayuk, along with like Alexander Madison. I think and no one wants to buy Jahmyr Gibbs right now, and I think he's got more value as time progresses, honestly. But like those are the four that I would highlight in terms of trade value. How about you?
yeah, I would agree. Here, wait, let me take a look. Um, I mean, there still might be some like Gibbs truthers out there that would be willing to take Gibbs if you're looking for some upsides elsewhere. I mean, I know a lot of people are still big on holding out and waiting for Gibbs, but I don't mind trading him off. Someone in my league made a pretty good trade with Gibbs today, so
Yeah,
that's the only other person I would add.
I agree. I just need to see a spike game from him though, and then I'm happy to sell him because it's like I feel like once people see that theoretical ceiling game from him, they're gonna lose their minds, and they're gonna be
Yeah.
like, he's going to literally be insane, yada yada yada. But I think also with the time of it not being happening during the JMO sesh is also concerning. But that's a whole another note.
I just don't see as long as Detroit like keeps, you
Winning,
know, firing on all cylinders. Yeah, it's
like
like
if
why
they're
would they switch it up?
yeah if they're playing from in front, they're not going to be throwing the ball to him nearly as much. I think that's a great point. But here we have a super team. Like, what the hell am I looking at? Um,
Yeah, this got to be a 2-man
yeah, you playing in a 4-man league or just like a trade monster? Is this Aaron's team? Like
again.
I'm speechless. Like this is. It doesn't matter if Calvin Ridley has a good game either, or like Tank Dell. Like every other piece in this offense, like is going to go off. I think this team would have had over 200 fantasy points potentially this past weekend. Like that's cracked. Yeah, we're gonna move on to the next team, and I saw Bill was asking, um, like, you gotta pop in the Discord, Bill. I know I'm not sure if you're a big Discord guy, but our guy Jackson here is handling how get the teams get put on this respective team here, and basically you gotta DM him at Jamario Moon, and he'll tell you exactly how to get in here to get your team reviewed. But appreciate the donut, Bill. Um,
Yum yum yum.
Yum yum yum. I also like how he's got T.J. Hawkinson on the bench here, so that means he like he updated this somehow. Like, what? I don't know, man. Like, congratulations on winning your league. That's all I have to say. Like, that's just insane. Um, he must have been fleecing people in trades somehow, if that wasn't like a 4-man
Yeah.
league. Anthony Richardson, Christian McCaffrey, James Cook, Cooper Kupp, AJ Brown, Darren Waller. Like, this is a lot more believable.
It's also pretty stacked though.
Yeah. Like, I can believe this. I can see people trading low for AJ or buying low on AJ Brown. That like I think that was a pretty common thing here. Um, looking at this, like you can really do like I think you can sell super high on Nico Collins right now. Like, do I necessarily advocate for it too heavily? No. But when you have Calvin Ridley sitting on your bench and Zay Flowers, Like, I'm not super opposed to it, and like Adam Thielen, realistically as well. Like, there's a lot of ways I wouldn't say to really improve this team, but like you can take it to a next step forward. Like, James Cook is awesome, but like, wouldn't it be better to have Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler? Like, you could probably buy Jonathan Taylor as well with this team, and like, or Saquon Barkley. Like, you can really turn this into a team like we just saw previously, where it's just
for
like
sure.
there's no holes in it, which I think is kind of a good way to go about it. Any more thoughts for this team? Another team that we don't have to spend too long on reviewing.
I mean, not really. Like, I'm lower on Jahan than most people are, so I would drop him. But other than that, I think you're spot on.
Yeah. Um, Jahan Dotson. Where's he in here?
Oh, oh my gosh! I was editing
You're editing
the
the
presentation.
team. That's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
That's
I was
fair.
looking at a different team.
I was like, wait, where's Jahan Dotson? I'm confusion. I would try to be getting out of Tutu Atwell though. I will say that. Um, but overall, like very very solid team. Let's see here. Kirk Cousins, Tony Pollard, Travis Etienne, Stephon. Bro, where are you guys getting these super teams? Like,
Yeah, it's nuts.
there's nothing really else to be said. Like, maybe get a more consistent flex in theory. Like,
They could go for Travis Kelsey and Jettas.
yeah, this is true, Harville. This is true. I appreciate the love. Harville says it's from listening to us here, which is nice. But yeah, like this is just cracked. Again, nothing really else to say. Like bench is. What do we say? We always say to make sure your bench is full, especially if you're missing a defense. Never mind, you got the Cowboys defense. Like Jesus. All right, moving on. Like nothing else to say about that. Like it's just a really, really, really good team. CJ Stroud, Bijan, Kyron, Chris Olave, Stephon Diggs, Mark. What the hell? Um,
Or is it stacked again?
yeah. Like, what are these teams? My God. Yeah, this is just a very, very good team. And you got Jonathan Taylor sitting on IR. Like, you are in the perfect head spot. Your receivers are very, very stacked. In theory, like, trade for, like, a really strong flex option. Like, maybe try to see if you can buy low on Austin Eckler. Or, like, Saquon. But, like, overall, another really, really strong team. Like,
Yeah,
hats off to you,
I
my
love the
friend.
whole team. Yeah,
Like, God. Let's see here. Is Tank going to buy low? I think so. I think with the offensive line getting healthy, I actually think he's going to get better as well. Like I think that's a big part of it. Offensive line, everything starts firing on all cylinders. Apparently, Achon is just that guy. I don't think it's statistically sustainable for him, but like he's been like ridiculous. Would you trade Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith for Justin Jefferson in a non PPR?
I mean, that is a blockbuster trade. It kind of heavily depends on the teams.
Yeah, like I need to know what else I have on my roster because it's like I think Justin Jefferson's going to be the most consistent receiver in the league, in terms of fantasy at least. But like, gotta see the rest of the team because that is a lot of equity you're giving up there. Um, but I'm not really too opposed because I've also said that Justin Jefferson will finish as the wide receiver one and he reclaimed that title this past weekend. Um,
Yeah, they already have Diggs too. Like, not
yeah,
opposed, honestly.
but let's see here. Who should you grab? And referred to who, Derek? Referred to who? Um, I like having Addison in your lineup. You didn't hear. I believe you were the first one, Derek. So we'll go back to yours once I've done through this specific click sesh, and I'll go back and check that one again. You said two for ones. Okay, we'll go back to that one in a minute here. No problem. Trevor Lawrence of an Achon. Like it's just a really good team. Like Addison's great. Like the only spot you can really improve this is the flex spot. Like that's really all I can see. Um, oh, I don't even mind buying low on Calvin Ridley right now, while the market absolutely hates him. Like I think he's going to get better as the season progresses.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Calvin Ridley's a good buy low option right now for sure.
Yeah. Not really too much else to say other than like try to improve your flex on this team. It's just very strong. I'll just do. Let's see. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor. Let's see. Nico Collins, Zay Flowers, Evan Ingram, Raheem Mostert. Let's see. We said that Raheem Mostert was the sell high candidate last week. So hopefully this person took this advice by the time the stream came forward, because that definitely would have benefited them then rather than now. Running backs are very strong. I'm assuming that's a devil emoji. In which case, I'm speaking to you, whoever's name is this. Pop in the Discord. The link to that is in the bio. It's entirely free, but you got to DM our guy Jackson here at Jamario Moon, and he'll tell you exactly how to get your team on this stream. Nico Collins, Zay Flowers, and Raheem Mostert. Like, your wide receiver core is just not sustainable. But albeit, like, you do have DK Metcalf, like, sitting on IR on the bye this week, along with Amari Cooper. So, like, perhaps that's a little too short-sighted on my end. But, like, I feel like you could be at something more consistent / stronger, because I don't know if Nico Collins is really going to stay this consistent.
I also feel like, not considering bye weeks, there's enough talent on this team to have a better wide receiver too than DK potentially.
Yeah, I think that's really what I'm getting at as well. Is like you can really take this a step forward, which is, I wouldn't say imperative, but like you're kind of getting to that spot where it's like you can really turn this to some like higher end players, like you're saying here. Like I'd say Chris Olave, but Derek Carr's like injury does concern me a little bit, and just stuff along those lines. Like I don't know, Calvin Ridley, I think is a tier higher than people are giving him credit for. I think Raheem Mostert was a sell high. I don't know if you can sell him for that same premium anymore, but we'll see how that goes. I think DJ Moore is great, but I also just look at that. I'm like, I need to see him do that against some better corners with Justin Fields before I really hop on this. Fields is a good passing quarterback. Benching Waddle for B-Rob for your flex. I want Waddle in my lineup this week because it's one of the higher projected games, and it should be favorable for him. But I really like Brian Robinson Jr.'s matchup against the Bears, because I also just think he's uber talented, and they should be dominating. But we shall see.
What do you think about, on that note, Lance Thomas this week?
Lance Thomas?
Or Lance, Commanders tight end.
Oh, Logan Thomas.
Yeah, Logan Thomas, sorry.
They like to utilize their tight ends a lot, which is really kind of bullish in theory. So I'm not, like, out on that. I think it's actually a pretty strong play overall. But we'll see kind of how that plays here. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if that game ends up actually being, like, closer somehow. But, like, it should be a blowout. Let's see. Waddle hasn't had more than 4 receptions in 3 games he's plays. That's why. Yeah, and that's fair. My only thing is, like, I just like to look at how many points are supposed to go in a game, and like maybe like Waddle gets taken away from, but at the end of the day, like Tyreek. But like I do agree, Brian Robinson's a much safer / smarter pick realistically. But enough on this team right here. Try to improve the flex and maybe get something more strong in the receiver spots here, but overall it's fine. Javonte Williams, sad boy hours. Another one bites the dust. The receiving part's the only. How do you have Chase in the flex? That's something that always bewilders me. Is when people do that. Did we ever rate Brody's team? He keeps saying he missed his team. Evident. I think you said we rated your team in the last.
Rated Brody's team like 3 times.
Yeah, I think we rated it in the last stream, Brody. I want to say you said it was at like minute 20 or something like that from the YouTube recording. And those who are in here, like these all get posted on YouTube after as well. If you want to go back to see what we said or like tell us we were wrong or whatever in the future.
Also, Brody, if you hit me up earlier today, then you'll be in here as well.
Yeah.
So.
Would you say Najee is droppable at this point?
No. I mean, I don't know. I don't have Najee, I think, in any of my leagues, but I think right now it'd be tough for me to make the decision to drop him.
Sure. Let's see here. He said, yeah, I sent another this what, and so I could type back with you. Okay. Um, Tag on YouTube's just prediction strike doesn't change. Um, I just don't like the unsustainability of the receiving core here. That's really the only thing I don't like. Jamar Chase, you can't really count in or out. I think he's more than fine, but like somebody more consistent in the wide receiver two spot because we really don't know if DJ Moore and Marquise Brown are really going to be statistically sustainable. Whereas
Yeah.
like your running backs are just god tier. Evan Ingram's going to be very in and out. I think he does have like an improved role with Zay Jones out, which is great for him. Um, yeah, that's really the only spot that I'm kind of like you need to find something that's a little more like sustainable. We try to do it once a day, live if we can, but it's all kind of dependent on schedule. And I usually come on earlier in the day, and then the people in the Discord get the first notice of when we're doing these, because we have a weekly meeting where Jackson gets annoyed by me, and just we just go back and forth about various things. Hashtag meetings. God, I sound cringeworthy. But
D1 Yapper.
D1 Yapper. Let's see here. But yeah, like that's my only point for here. I don't think Algier's really relevant, but I mean I understand it's really just a handcuff piece for Bijan. Tyler Lockett has really become irrelevant as to me as well. It's not bad. It's just like the receivers are the thing that I keep like going back through in my brain. Like this needs to get fixed.
You don't think Algier is worth a bench spot?
I'm just so big on Bijan is going to be just great, to where he gets better and better as time goes on, and you're just seeing like him become like Algier being completely phased out. Similar to like who's the one guy? I'm not going to go into a whole nother tangent, but Philip Lindsay. That's what I'm thinking of, where he was just absolutely awesome, a complete dog, and then just like irrelevant. Let's see. What? Let's see. Waddle, Achon, Ridley for CMC are too much. I feel like that's too much. Like CMC is definitely like a differentiator in terms of fantasy football. But like, I do like this team though. I do want to point that out. I know I've said kind of like I guess some negative things, but like I do really like this team. It's just like I try to look for guaranteed consistency at my wide receiver positions. And for me, at least, I don't think that Marquise Brown and DJ Moore, at least right now, hold that sustainability. And that might just be a poor take considering how well Josh Dobbs is playing. But we will see with time. And then the last one before we jump to our guys' team here that was first. Anthony Richardson, Aaron Jones, Bijan Robinson, Justin Jefferson, Puka, Mark Andrews, Chris Olave, Fields on the bench. Fix your bench, please.
I think I'm pretty sure this was because they just made a trade.
Okay.
I wish I remember who it was for.
But always like stack like you just always fill your bench is my theory. Like there's no reason to have pieces. Like always swing for upside. Try to look at like injuries and stuff that like might be coming in the future where it's like you never know. Maybe Calvin Austin is somehow like Mitchell Trubisky's guy, or anything like that. I do believe that Garrett Wilson is actually going to be more of a thing this year with Zach Wilson than I gave thought. Like Zach Wilson played well. And I think that's going to translate in a game against a very, very poor Denver Broncos defense. But I think that also might have been because Donna Kelsey was in the building, but that's a whole other story. Yeah, I just need to build up the bench, but like you have Austin Eckler, like this team is going to be a super team. I'm very confident in that. Especially once like the whole entire like team gets healthy here, but like Derek Carr gets healthy. That should be great.
Yeah.
W calling the field start. He saved your week. I'm happy to hear that, my friend. But let's. Oh, does it just go? Oh man. Okay. So I'm gonna go back before I forget about Derek's team here. That was team 13. Let's see here. He was asking for people to trade for 10 team half PPR half. Okay. So these are typically where you want to be more. So you got Bijan, you got Brian Robinson, which is great. Sam Laporta, Isaiah Pacheco. It's very strong in a half PPR. That helps a lot. I wouldn't mind trying to buy in on Chris Olave while he's cheap because once Derek Carr is healthy, he's going to be targeted a lot more. I think DK Metcalf can be used in a trade realistically. Chris Godwin, I really want to keep right now with the hyperinflated value he's going to have. Yeah, I would consider like DK Metcalf and Jacoby Myers as like potential trade pieces because I think not DK's at like a ceiling for his value, but like he could end up even outperforming like I don't know like these two together seem great. Jacoby Myers is going to be a lot lessened in terms of his usage with Devontae Adams.
Pacheco has good value right now.
Yeah, Pacheco's got really good value, but it's like I don't know. I think he's going to be a thing this year. I think that's my like kind
Yeah.
of counter to that. Like I think he's really just going to be a thing. Um, you can honestly sell Sam Laporta. Like I know you don't want to because it's like, well, Darren Waller hasn't done shit for me. But like people are going to really buy high on Sam Laporta right now because they want the theoretical consistency he's going to have as time progresses. But this is my concern with Sam Laporta, even though I love him. Like, what happens when Jameson Williams does come back? Like, does he take whose snaps is he really going to be taking from? Because it's not going to be a Montres. It's gonna 100% be from Josh Reynolds likely, and Marvin Jones. But like, I don't know. I think Sam Laporta takes a slight hit there, but he's still more than fine. He got two really strong tight ends. I'm not hopping off the Darren Waller thing. You was thinking of that. Plus, you're starting a Monra in every lineup is by. That's fair. Overall, it's a great team. Like, I just would be like, I wouldn't be opposed because I know the market is very, very, very high on Sam Laporta right now. Even though he is having a historic season for a rookie tight end, I will put that out there as another counter to what I was saying a little bit earlier. But to go back to the other teams, clicking marathon. Let's see. Oh, Woofer's yelling. Let's see here. Happy to help, Derek. Mac, I might have to close the door on you. I like to leave the door open, but I might have to close the door on you, buddy.
What kind of dog is that?
King Charles Cavalier.
Wow.
Yeah, they're fun dogs. Like, we sit at dinner or whatever, right? And so it's like I'm eating my food, grubbing, and like you look across the table and he's just sitting in the chair opposite of you, just looking at you like, He's like, what do you want? And he's like, I just came to sit at the table, have a conversation. Like,
That's funny that y'all let him eat at the table with you.
yeah. Let's see. Yeah, the Cavaliers are the best. Great personalities. But anyways, big dog guy here. But side note, very strong team. Your running back core is weak in reality. I like Madison. I do like Madison, but I do think we're going to see his role get slightly diminished. This could end up being more commodified. So it's like really try to find an elite running back to anchor this team behind. Because your receivers are fine. Trying to see who else you have here. Addison's going to get better as the season progresses. I'm very confident in that. I don't know, just like the running backs are the only thing that concerns me. Like DK Metcalf, you could potentially use on the trade, but it's like looking at this bench, like I still like his theoretical depth compared to like trying to think of like Quentin Johnson. Like Quentin Johnson's nothing to me. I don't know. This is a 2-for-1 spot. Nothing too crazy. What are your thoughts on this one, if any?
I mean, pieces that are popping out to me in this team, like to make an upgrade with, would be like James Conner and maybe DK. You could probably get something big packaging those two guys up. B Rob as well. Like I think B Rob's, I prefer to hold him throughout the season, but he has very high value right now if you want to package him with someone. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just a good team. You just gotta have to wait things out a little bit, and like the running back room is like something you could take another step forward with, because this is fine, but like we want to be having a little bit more of a strong running back room for that consistent point. Because like remember with receivers, you're always like chasing upside for specific weeks, and like some are going to be able to consistently deliver to you, whereas others not as much. I think he's yelling at me to take him on a walk, so gonna have to do that after this stream. Demanding little dog. All right, I'm gonna let you take over for this next team here, and I'm gonna shut the door and be a mean person to my dog. Unfortunately.
Sounds good. Okay, we got Fields at QB, backup QB. Oh boy. So I would definitely, just looking at this team immediately, would recommend trading for a second QB or picking up a QB or what have you. I like that you have Eckler. He's coming back. I think Brees Hall's an improving asset. Same with Calvin Ridley. Amari Cooper, I like. Yeah, I think you have room to the bench is a little bit suspect, but there's definitely some pieces like Tank Dell, uh, Ferguson potentially that you could package, make a deal with. Christian Kirk, I like as well. Yeah.
And I'm back.
What'd you do with him?
All right.
What'd you do with him, Wells?
Oh, I just went and checked out what he was barking at, and he was just like, "Yeah, there's no one at the door, but I was barking at him." I'm like, "Nice, man, nice." So I hit him a couple head rubs, and then I just closed the doors because I was like, "If you start barking again, we're gonna have problems." But it should be good now. If
Yeah,
for those
but
of you asking how to get your team rated, join the Discord. Link to that is in the bio. Our friend Jackson here, you DM him at Jamario Moon. So think of Ja for like Ja Morant type deal, and then add that with Mario, like Super Mario, and that's his Discord hat. You'll see exactly who to hat once you're in the Discord, though.
I mean, my main problem with this team is just that, like, it looks like for this first 4 weeks of the season, you haven't really had a wide receiver one, a true wide receiver one, or like a true running back one. So, I would look to definitely make upgrades in the wide receiver department.
Yeah,
Eckler coming back is going to be big for your team, but
like
I
you're just
can't imagine it. I can't imagine it's been the best start to the season for this one.
yeah. No, I 100% agree with that because you look at it and you're just like, there just seems to be a lot of holes overall with it,
Mm-hmm.
which is just like, how did it survive to this point? Maybe he made some trades to get like specific players, and that's like how he's at where he's at right now. But like, I'd be trading out of Christian Kirk at a high value if I can, and just saying like he looks like he's the true wide receiver one in that team, and then like be like, yeah, I heard Derek Carr's injury is actually pretty severe, and then go buy Chris Olave for cheap. I highly doubt that works, but you never know. Some people just believe word.
Can we get some prayers in the chat for this team, please?
Yeah. Let's see. You sent it to Jamario. You're Bruce Banner. I like the name. Yeah, like it's just like there's got to be more stability at the end of the day with this team.
Yeah.
Receivers specifically. Like, unfortunately, Calvin Ridley hasn't been that. Neither has Amari Cooper. Well, Amari Cooper's been consistent when what's his name's been playing. We'll see. Let's see here. Jordan Love, Bijan Robinson. Let's see. That was you, Harville. Your triangle. Fair enough. It's not easy in a 14 man. I love how I just like low-key just roast some of the people who are like the most kind in this chat. And they're just like, yeah, I was hoping you like had
Just
some
catch
better
it
things.
straight bullets.
Yeah, just absolutely just getting like loaded into, and it's just like I don't mean to do it like that. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't really sell Zach Moss for the zenith that you once could. Tank Dell value is definitely down a little bit more. Yeah, it's just something more consistent in the wide receiver department. Like maybe you can even go get DK, but I kind of doubt that. Olave would be kind of the theory here. Kenneth Gainwell, like none of the handcuffs have really come to fruition just yet, unfortunately, for this team. But who knows? Maybe Kadarius Toney can actually string a couple weeks together healthy. In which case, that he becomes a massive piece for your fantasy team. But we'll see. That all depends if he gets healthy. Jordan Love, Bijan Robinson, Tyreek Hill, Zay Flowers, Jake Ferguson, Marquise Brown. I like Isaiah Pacheco a lot.
It's a good team.
It's a good team. Like, Zay Flowers is definitely got some great weeks. Two flexes is definitely going to make things a little bit harder on you in general. Like, it's just a good team.
Yeah. Stacked bench. It's kind of like making me wonder what size league this is, the bench. But
Because it's like, how do you get Tyreek Hill and Bijan, my guy, and Travis Etienne? Like, you definitely had to trade some stuff around, in theory. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense. Is like, this guy was able to do some crazy trade at the beginning of the season to where he's at right now. Because it's like, the value just isn't really mathing right now.
yeah.
Like, there was just no buy low point for Bijan Robinson, I feel like. Yeah, this has to be like sort of weird.
But it's a really good team though. Like, really, really good team.
I was gonna say, if this was like, I always find these teams a little bit interesting that are on sleeper because it's like, you can actually trade draft positions mid-draft. So you can be like, let's say you have the third pick and I have the first pick, and I'm like, you know what, I want the, I don't know, like, I'm trying to figure out how to verbalize this. Basically, you just trade out a bunch of pieces and you can up a
Yeah,
super
yeah.
team that way. Let's see. How do you get your help on this? Like, your team better. True. Dark meld, potentially. Yeah, I just completely lost exactly where I was going. Brain fart, ADHD is kicking in. It's late.
You're good.
Let's see here. We got Brock Party cooking in the kitchen. You send it to our guy Jackson here at Jamario Moon on the Discord, and he'll make sure to optimize you guys accordingly to get your team rated. Now, remember, for those of you guys who are in here, like, if you didn't get your team reviewed in timely fashion, don't worry, we're still got plenty to go through. But like, didn't get rated in timely fashion, or just want to see exactly like what we said about it and go back and review what we got right, what we got wrong, and call us idiots or geniuses, whichever one you prefer. These will be on Discord.
Yep.
But not
Also, don't
Discord, on
forget the
YouTube.
link to the Discord is in the bio if you're looking to get your team reviewed.
And DM Jackson here at Jamario Moon. Ja like Ja Morant, Mario like Super Mario, and combine those two. Let's see here. Let's see. What's your team in the Discord, Brian? Let's see here. Or name in the Discord, and that'll help you exactly here. But looking back at this team, running backs are a little meh. Najee sucks. I told that before this season. Let's see. Sipes, he says his Discord username is Sipes.
Sipes. Okay. Tell him he has to send me a direct message.
Send him a direct
I guess I'm on the
message.
stream too.
Okay, well, yeah, fair enough. You probably spent heavy equity at on Goddard for tight end would be my guesstimate here. This one's a little bit more complicated because you just hit a couple landmines more than anything when you were drafting. Like, Goddard and Burrow are just... if you send it to him earlier today, Brian, it's probably going to be at the latter part of the stream would be my guess. Christian Kirk's a sell high candidate. Like, running backs, you need more consistent. I just don't think the running back room is stable whatsoever. Like, that's my big concern here. Is like, what if our Ezekiel Elliott rumors actually end up being fully true when they're not playing from behind, and he actually takes more of a workload than people are expecting? Then, like, Ramondre's really busting on this team. And receivers just aren't consistent enough for me. Like, I would be trading out of Christian Kirk, but I don't know who I would, like, pair him with. Like...
Yeah. This team, this is a tough one for me. For me, it's a lot of misses. Like, I would definitely get rid of Christian Kirk as fast as you can. Maybe shop him with Ramondre. But I'm not seeing enough like power players, like true best on their team and their position players. Like.
Yeah, and it's scary doing like 2-for-1s with this team as well, because it's like, okay, you do that with Ramondre, right, and you upgrade that position. Then your real concern comes from there of like, how do you fill that extra gap you now have? Like, I think picking up Wandale is very sharp, but like, there's just a lot of pieces in this I have concerns with, and kind of hard to pivot exactly out. Because, like, no one's really spiked on this team outside of Kyron, and it's like, that's a spot that maybe you do a 1-for-2, or like you trade Tyreek Hill for like a 1-for-2 as well. Like, I think this team needs stronger depth, I guess is what I'm kind of getting at here, and I think that's what Jackson is too. Like, it's got decent pieces, but like, you just don't have anything on the bench you can combine with a starter to be like, okay, I feel very confident in starting this person every single week, which is what you realistically want. But we'll see kind of how it progresses. Diego, you send it to Jackson here at Jamario Moon. Ja like Ja Morant, Mario like Mario Super Mario. Appreciate all the gifts here. It's harder for me to see on here, but I just saw some sort of money gun thingy. But yeah, word. Let's see here. All right, so now I need to click out of this so we can get to the other ones that Jackson added to the document here. So we are up to 25 teams right now, and that was Team 17. So make sure you guys get those into Jackson. I won't try to hold them too long. Appreciate the confetti. I don't even know, like, it actually does, like, stuff over the chat here now. That's interesting. We just checked this team out, though. So moving on to the next one. Getting a bunch of donuts. Noah's going crazy with it. Anthony,
Nom 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 nom.
send a bunch of glizzies so Jackson can interact with the glizzies.
Nope, definitely not going to interact with no glizzies, bro.
No, you don't need a donut or anything like that. You just join the Discord, link to that is in the bio, and then you DM Jackson here at Jamario Moon on our Discord. And he'll make sure to help you guys accordingly. Let's see here. Oh my god, somebody actually sent glizzies, my friend.
Here I go.
Anthony Richardson, Bijan Robinson, Kyron Williams, Garrett Wilson, Nico Collins, Mark Andrews, Saquon Barkley. Very strong start. You got Deontay sitting on IR. Ford on bye. Elijah Mitchell, Tutu Atwell, Terry McLaurin, Christian Watson. A lot of upside with this team, which is really, really good. But I wouldn't really say that, like, you need to be selling out of Kyron, but, like, maybe see if you can get Austin Eckler. Like, that's really the big question mark, is, like, what exactly does, like, Austin Eckler kind of do for this team to take it to another level? I just don't know if, like,
you think Eckler over a better receiver for this team? I mean, they got Bijan, Saquon.
Yeah, I mean, Saquon goes up in that spot. I always forget to look down at the flex, and, like, Saquon's just staring at me like, hello, it's me. But yeah, you're right. Realistically, a better receiver is going to be more helpful for this team. Like,
yeah,
it's a very solid team. Like, Nico Collins realistically can flip with Kyron to get, like, something super elite if you wanted. Because I do think Tank Dell is going to consistently be a thing this year, and I think that Christian Watson is going to be fine as well. Like, both of those guys have a lot of true upside to me.
Sure.
And that builds up the receiving core, like you're saying, which is the proper move. But overall, nice team. Moving on to the next team, though. Joshathan Allen, James Cook, David Montgomery, Devontae Adams, D-Hop, who I actually... that's somebody that, like, I've been meaning to say that, like, is an actual buy low candidate, D-Hop. Like, yeah, the receiving sucks. I mean, the, like, quarterback sucks right now. But, like, I do think he's just going to have a higher level of usage that's going to be more stable as we kind of get through the weeks here. Evan Ingram, let's see. That's you, Jacob. Let's see, right on. So this team is old, to put it simply, because I think you have 3 players. Nope, only 2 that are over 30. I thought you had 3 for a second. I was like, that's crazy. Oh, but actually, no, you have Keenan Allen, who's over 30 as well. And Brees. This is a very strong team. Like, I really like this. I just don't know what you can, like, this is a spot where I would really try to combine, like, David Montgomery and, like, or James Cook or Aaron Jones for somebody, like, super elite. Like, I don't mind doing that. Maybe something more consistent at your wide receiver 2 spot. I think that's fine, but, like, you're in a spot where you can really trade for, like, an absolutely elite running back at a premium price point, like in Bijan potentially, or Tony Pollard, or, like, buy low on Austin Eckler and really take this a step forward. I do think technically upgrading DeAndre Hopkins is fine as well, but the particular reason that, like, I'm not too sold on upgrades is you have Keenan Allen and Devontae Adams, who right now their volume is just insane. And, like, Brees Hall, I also think is just going to be really able to ramp it up as time progresses forward, and I think is a must-start candidate going into this week. So to me, I want something that's going to be not in a 50-50 split, which is referring to David Montgomery and James Cook realistically right now, and, like, trying to get some, and really Aaron Jones to a degree, and getting something that's, like, very firm in their true role. Like, that's what
I think you could probably target someone without a tight end too, because there's lots of those people this year. I think Tyler Higbee could be involved in a trade. Like, I don't think he's anywhere close to most waiver wires at this point. Like,
agreed. Like, it just seems like this is a very good team, but, like, it can take one tiny step forward, especially when you do 2-for-1s. I make sure to keep Brees Hall because I think his talent's going to outshine in the back half of the season. But, like, Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, James Cook, I'm not too afraid from moving any of them. David Montgomery, I have a little bit more hesitancy of moving just because, like, James Cook isn't getting goal line work. I feel like that's just so apparent. Whereas, like, David Montgomery, it's like, all right, you're a better version of Jamal Williams. So, like, I have more hesitancy moving him, but it also depends. If I can get Bijan in return with a trade package, I could be, my mind could be changed. Landon, so I know it's annoying for the rest of those that keep asking it, I mean, hearing it, but a lot of these people are just joining right now. But you DM Jackson here at Jamario Moon on our Discord. Link to that as in the bio, and he will get you right. I appreciate you helping him out there, Derek. But yeah, I hope this helps. Like, very, very strong team. Like, only things is like maybe like get something more consistent at running back, but like this is just a very, very strong team. And like as you were kind of pointing out, maybe even like go for a higher end like tight end if you could. Like that's not a bad idea either. TJ Hawkinson I think had a poor week, which could correlate well actually for his upside. But moving on. Brockathan Purdy, Bijan DeAndre Swift, who ended up completely countering what I said. Calvin Ridley, Tank Dell, Samuel Porter, and Christian Kirk. So Christian Kirk is our sell high candidate here. DeAndre Hopkins will have better weeks. You got a bunch of guys on bye for this week. Unfortunately for you, T. Higgins went out with an injury, and Joe Burrow is just playing like he's in Pee Wee. Let's see here. This is yours. You had Chubb. Okay. I'd sell high on Adam Thielen and Christian Kirk. I think people are going to believe that those two values are sustainable for the rest of the season, and I just don't. I'm not entirely sure what somebody would accept in return, but I'd try to package those two specifically together. You have Calvin Ridley, which is great. DeAndre Swift is a more than fine fill-in for your RB2 here, but like I think you can take this flex, which could really be this wide receiver 2 here, another step forward, but I also think that DeAndre Hopkins is going to be great. And Ford for Olave. Would you do Adam Thielen, Christian Kirk, and Ford for Olave? I feel like you could just do Adam Thielen and Christian Kirk right now and start talking to them about like the Derek Carr injury, and they'll lower their asking price, Riley. But your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. Yeah, I think that's a little bit too much. I like the outlook on Ford. So yeah, I totally agree. I would leave him out to begin trade talks on that.
Yeah. And you DM Jamario directly, and he'll optimize you accordingly to get on here. But overall, it's a solid team. It's just like that's the only thing. Like DeAndre Swift has clearly got the role to me at least right now, which is fine. Like you could technically take a step up for your running backs, like maybe combine Swift with Ford, and like you won't be able to get Austin Eckler. I highly doubt it, but you never know if you just lowball the offer, because some people are desperate for depth in general. But moving on, let's see here: C.J. Stroud, Saquon Barkley, Isaiah Pacheco, George Pickens. Oh my God, I hate the receiver room for the most part. Like George Pickens, just I don't see being super consistent.
They got CD in the flex though.
Yeah, CD, like that's also the thing that throws me off is like I see like the initial receivers and like what happened, and then it's just like Jamar Chase or CD Lamb in the flex, and you're just like,
Yeah.
why? Yeah, everybody always wants overpays, but like sometimes you have to give them that theoretical look at a premium. Whoa, we got a Galaxy here. Appreciate it, Noah. You're going crazy with the gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, see, you got Jahan Dotson, Miles Sanders, Dak Prescott's irrelevant. Najee sucks. I think that Miles Sanders is just gonna get like better as the season progresses when he's not injured. Like I just really think like that's how it's gonna be for him. I just think you really need to build up a wide receiver, but it's kind of hard to do with what you have. Albeit, like Amari Cooper is usually in that spot for you, but like having to rely on George Pickens or Tank Dell as your alternative like flex option here really isn't super ideal. I don't know. Who would you target here? I guess.
I mean, I agree. This is a really tough spot to be in. Like I do agree with you. I think Miles Sanders could improve as the season goes on. At the same time, he's been pretty solid so far. I mean, that could be a first step to a way to a deal here. Him and I don't know, maybe like Amari Cooper or something for two other players that could round out your team a little bit better, or one player.
Yeah. I am a little bit worried about T at this point to kind of answer both Zach and Don's questions. It's a health thing. It's a Joe Burrow thing. And I prefer to have Brian Robinson, honestly. I think he's just going to be better. But overall, like, you just need somebody that's a little bit, like, more kind of, like, consistent in the flex department. Realistically, which is not a CD Lamb. Like, CD Lamb is your bona fide starting wide receiver. Um, but that's really it. And there's definitely upside with Tank Bixby, but we'll see how it goes. Trade away for season. You're just not going to be able to trade him for the value you want. Like, I'm not going to be having you sell at like a market low, because like he immediately just got injured and people are like on him. Let's see here. Danny Dimes, David Montgomery. I had to check down a little bit for it. I see Joe Mixon's in the flex. Okay. I was about to lose it. Like Algier is somebody like I just don't think is even worth rostering. Well, not rostering. I think that's too far. I think having in a starting spot is the proper form to say that. I don't mind starting Jahan Dotson this week over Tyler Algier. I think that's a much smarter play, but I do need to look at why he's got a Q tag. I don't have a memory for exactly why. I think he got nicked up towards the end of the game. I just don't think Tyler Algier is worth rostering. That's just me, though. Receiving core is fine.
You don't think like you think he's a waiver player for you?
Like he's somebody that can like I'm just not sold on like Bijan getting hurt. Like that's really poor logic on my end, but I just look at him like I just don't see him getting hurt, and like that is really poor logic for me. But like it's just a weird kind of feeling I have that I'm like I don't even want Tyler Algier right now. Like only way he becomes really relevant is like if Bijan gets hurt, because the snaps are continuing to diminish for him. So like I just wanted to have him sit on my bench. I guess the real point there. But Jahan Dotson I like this week. Gabe Davis I like this week, but it's like fine. Let's see here. He'd do D-Hop instead of Ford, so it would be D-Hop, Thielen, and Kirk. Yeah, you can't do D-Hop, Thielen, and Kirk. That's an insane overpay. Like, I would literally just be like, how are you going to have me add D-Hop into a package with Derek Carr only giving him one target off of this injury? You want receivers that, like, have consistent targets. But to each their own. That's an insane overpay. Yeah, I just say Algier. I think you need something potentially a little more consistent in the running back department, but Joe Mixon's fine. David Montgomery you could potentially even upgrade for. You just don't have a lot of pieces on your bench that are really 2-for-1 worthy. But it's a decent
Gabe
team
Davis.
overall.
I mean,
yeah, Gabe Davis is fine. It's just like my issue with Gabe Davis is like it's not something that's like going to be super consistent.
But. No, I mean I was just saying for a trade package there could be some recency bias there and stuff.
That is true. Back-to-back touchdown weeks, which is really good for him realistically. But moving on. Stroud, Mixon, Swift. Running backs are weak here. Bench needs to fill in with another defense because we never keep those spots open. Let's see here. Zach Moss, Tyjae Spears, Jalen Warren, Tank Dell, Michael Thomas, Miles Sanders. I mean, you just need something a little more consistent in the running back department, but it's like fine. But I wouldn't say it's like, this makes me super ecstatic. If Cooper Kupp's in the form that he once was, then like he's going to be absolutely elite. But like, I don't know. I feel like you could build up your running back spot a little bit more, but it is fine. I just feel like it's mid-tier. Like, I would have put you in that elite tier for your running backs, but like these are like your mid-tier running backs. So we'll get it done each week. Like, they're going to get that volume that you want. But it's also like they're not going to be just like, oh yeah, he's going off for like 70 points this week or whatever, more often than not. But we'll see.
For me, this team's solid. It's strong. Like I really like it. I honestly don't mind. I mean, I think as far as how everybody in general made out with running backs, I think they did perfectly fine here. Joe Mixon's looking great. DeAndre Swift is looking absolutely great. We'll see how long that continues, but and Miles Sanders is an improving asset. Like I don't think it's that bad. Like I think they have enough to keep it moving throughout the season. But could always upgrade, like you said.
I think that's like exactly what I'm trying to say there as well. As like, it's just try to improve. Like it's step 4, but like it's really fine. I guess I see the bench and I'm kind of like, but like, Like Michael Thomas is probably going to be one of the most consistent fantasy players from like a target standpoint, but let's see
Yeah.
here. Let's see here. We got Tua, Bijan, Zach Moss, RB2. I hate when they do this. But you got Saquon riding the bench for right now. Like you can go buy low on Brees going back to the other team. I think that's something you could potentially do. But going back to this one, Aaron Jones, let's say that's in the flex. Receivers, I'd just kind of keep DJ Moore in the flex at this point. But like, we need to see exactly how. Oh, tired man. Zach Moss kind of progresses forward. Like Jonathan Taylor is going to make him completely like irrelevant, and you're kind of screwed in terms of like full on depth. If you put in Saquon in here, it's like great, you have 3 running backs, but like what happens when they go with a bye? Then I guess you go towards Michael Thomas or DJ Moore, but like Terry McLaurin hasn't been super consistent so far this season. Devontae Smith is going to be great, but he's not super consistent. I don't know. It's just a good team, but like, I don't know. It always throws me off when I see the better running back sitting in flex. I think that's what it is more than anything for me.
I think the flex could still be worked out a little better here. Like they got Bijan, theoretically they got Bijan, Saquon, Devontae, and then the next flex is Aaron. Aaron Jones is a pretty, like could be a reliable flex throughout the season, but some more depth there would probably be nice.
Yeah, like I think you should be taking a step forward with that. I think you just need more than anything a more consistent wide receiver too than Terry McLaurin
Yeah,
or DJ Moore. Like somebody that you know is really going to go out there and get at least 8 targets per game, which in
yeah,
theory
and
DJ Moore should do. But
and the touchdown last week for Terry, he just like picked it up in the end zone, right?
hmm,
Or did that happen? I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird spot because it's like it's got a lot of like really strong points, but like its weak points, you kind of sit there and you're like, well, it's gonna be some weeks where it's like DJ Moore he goes for 27 fantasy points, and then it's gonna be like others where it's just like, oh yeah, he got me like 6 fantasy points this week, which is just like, yeah. I mean, Saquon was falling, and like the reality of the matter with a lot of these fantasy drafts is like, not everyone does a Memorial Day weekend, but like that's kind of like the reality of the matter. But a lot of these teams, I believe, are true or have done trades of some variety. But overall, it's a solid team. Just like, I don't know, just like the wide receiver too rubs me wrong, I guess. Needs some more consistency. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Let's see. Oh, they're watching our stream last time, it looks like here. Let's see. Kirk Cousins, Tony Pollard, James Cook, Justin Jefferson. So you had a very lucky 1-2 stack based off where you likely drafted. This is yours, Mason? Okay. Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers. So we got the contingent there. Selling high, Christian Kirk. Jeff Wilson's on your IR. That's fine. Very small bench.
They also have, this was just said to me, they also have Jordan Palmer.
Okay.
Joshua Palmer.
Yeah, Josh Palmer here.
Joshua Palmer. I keep messing up names tonight, man.
You're good. Let's see here. I don't know. Like, you can sell high in Christian Kirk and Nico Collins, in theory. Like, and those will give you, like, like, I don't even want to say to, like, do that, because it's, like, this is just a really strong team. Like, if anything, take a step forward with your RB2 and take a step forward with your flex spot, and I think you're more than fine here. Like, Justin Jefferson and Devontae Smith is a very strong wide receiver core. Like, James Cook is, like, the only one that I'm kind of, like, on a little bit here. Like, going and getting Austin Eckler would really take this team a step forward. Especially if you're concerned with, like, Saquon Barkley. Like, in that Giants offense, even though I think he adds just a whole nother dimension to it. Like, Brees Hall also is somebody that I think you can buy for really cheap right now that has a really good matchup. But like your running back / flex spot is technically the only spot that like really needs work on this team. Overall, it's a very strong team. Appreciate all the gifts you're sending here, Noah. You're going crazy with them. And we're rating all the teams that DM our guy at Jamario here. Not at at Jamario on Discord, but Jackson.
At Jamario Moon.
Jamario Moon, yes. Let's see here. I think that's all we have for this one here, so we might be just about done. But I think we got a few more that'll take us right a little. So we're gonna stop at 30 here, and we're gonna send and do all the rest of the teams. We'll probably do some more tomorrow for you guys. We enjoy doing these. We think they're helpful. It's just a lot of fun to kind of interact with you guys and just go into a higher level of analysis. You've been trying to get bleached, but they won't budge. Damn. And that's kind of an also part about fantasy football. Is some people just don't move on their overall positions. Let's see here. So we got Kirko 2 Chains. We got Tony Paul. Oh, wait. This was literally just a team I did. Nice, Wells. Let's see here. We got Joey B, T. Higgins. Ah, damn. This feels like pain. Jerry Judy, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders. This is just the all bust team. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. Like, this guy just got really, really unlucky with his draft. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
you are 0-3.
I mean, they got Cup coming back.
They got Cup coming back. I mean, not 0-3. They're 0-4. This
Yeah.
team's just God. You're gonna have Cup back, which is great. So your wide receiver room gets better. So you replace that with Higgins. I think that's good for Judy. Yeah, I don't know if there's much salvaging here, to be honest with you, my friend. You're gonna have to wait till like Cooper Cup really goes absolutely like crazy, and then you're gonna have to 1 for 2 out of them, and that's how it is. Jackson, it's either at the end of this stream or it's going to be in tomorrow's stream if you haven't seen it. If you want to go back and check back, this playback will be on YouTube for you guys to check out as well. Go ahead, Jackson. Sorry to cut you off there.
Oh, you're all good. One thing I just want to add to that is if you hit me up right now, you'll be the first in the QQ for our next stream. So just hit me up right now with your email and a screenshot of your team, and we'll get you set up.
And that is at Jamario Moon on the Discord. So link to that is in the bio. Encourage you guys to join there. We're gonna try to do these once a day for you guys because we think, well, not we think, but it seems like you guys think this is helpful, and we enjoy doing it. But I appreciate you all. But like as I said, like this is just, yeah.
I think Josh Jacobs, you could maybe squeeze some extra value out of Josh Jacobs here and try to like work some trade magic throughout the season, starting with something like that.
Yeah, like it's just like, yeah, it's just gonna be hard for this team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like I can't really even think of like how to pivot out of this in like a good way. Like, it's just not it. Like, yeah. Like, no one wants Tyler Lockett right now. No one wants JSN. Zach Moss, you missed your time to sell. Like,
dude, I'm like close to saying JSN's just a drop.
Yeah, like, it's starting to look that way. Sam, what's your name on Discord? And I'll see if you got it right. Because Jamario's got a list of the people with the people who DM'd him. But overall, like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't know if there is saving for this team. Like, T. Higgins is now injured. Like, Jerry Judy is yet to pop off. Like, Cooper Kupp's coming back, but like, Joe Burrow is looking like he works at Walmart. Bruce Banner with a 3R is his name.
Bruce Banner.
Yeah. And if he's not, just add him onto the stream, and I'll make sure to, because he's been in here for a while. So it goes. No, you don't send it under Rate Your Team. You send it to Jamario Moon in the Discord.
You have to send here. I'll direct message you right now, Bruce Banner.
So like that's how we do it, because otherwise, like if we did every single team that was in Rate My Team, I don't think we would ever stop streaming. Because we have over 6,800 members in the Discord right now.
Yeah, realistically, we could keep this stream rolling for probably as long as we wanted to.
Yeah, like, but the amount of teams I could send that one specifically is just too difficult. It's just a lot easier when like our guy Jackson here handles exactly how to go about these teams, and we make sure to get the right priority. We're gonna try to see if maybe there's another way we can go about it. Let's see here. But we also try to focus on like people that are new to the community as well, because like if we just continue to do the same teams over and over again, it's not going to be the easiest. But we'll figure out a way that works to get more people that had their team review once, more and more again. He says he sent it. But overall, yeah, this team, I'm sorry, you are going to Valhalla. You fought valiantly, but you're going to die. Let's see here. Anthony Richardson, Jameer Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Zay Flowers, KJ Osborne. How deep is this league? Romeo Dubs. Why is that your 3 receivers? And why is George Kittle in your flex? You're there with him. Like, this team is technically like a slight improvement, Noah. But like, how deep? 1.5 tight improvement. Okay, that's more than fine. Then this makes a lot more sense. I can be a lot more on this train. I appreciate you sending the corny that's shaking its ass at me. That's wonderful. Um, but like, okay, you had me for a minute thinking like I was so concerned. Um, let's see. Just KJ and Romeo Dubs just are not the value I want here. Um, but you can't really put in like you need more help at the wide receiver position more than anything, but you can't really pivot out of that because it's like Jahmyr Gibbs hasn't played at that zenith of a value. Um, like I don't know, like the receivers specifically need work. I would go get Michael Wilson off of whatchamacallit, off of waivers here. I don't think you really need to have Jordan Love rostered. Maybe you can like trade him in a package with like Miles Sanders or like Jahmyr Gibbs for that guy that's into it and like try to improve your wide receiver core more than anything. What are you going to say, Jackson?
Oh, I was gonna say Bruce Banner. I need you to look at your DM if you want me to put your team
Okay,
on the list.
But yeah, like the wide receiver core is really what needs work here. I don't even mind if like George Kittle has like a massive game, which I just don't think is really sustainable with how many like people. Like you can really like just try to optimize for like a higher end receiver. Like Chris Olave, once Derek Carr is healthy, he's gonna be great. I think Calvin Ridley's still a buy low because like Trevor Lawrence is great. I just think that was a very difficult defense for him to go against. Um, it's a 12 game play, 1 game out of playoffs. Okay. Yeah, like you need to build up your receivers specifically here. I would be trying to get like towards Michael Wilson as well. Like I think he's fine. Tank Dell could even be a buy low for you, but I'd really be willing to like trade off of George Kittle because Travis Kelce is just going to be so dominant in this type of league format. Like I understand it's 1.5 tight end, like, but it doesn't really matter if you're only getting 5 base fantasy points and multiplying that by the half and getting 2.5. So it's like you just really need somebody better than KJ Osborne. Romeo Dubs is fine if we want to keep him, but like we really need to build up the wide receiver depth more than anything here. But overall, like I like the team in general, Noah. But like I'm not fully sold on keeping George Kittle in my roster, and I don't want KJ Osborne to be completely blunt. But he could be in for a good game this week. I'll admit that at least. But hopefully that was helpful. Yeah, like you're just wide receiver one can't be Zay Flowers. I love Zay, but like that's just not what you want. You need somebody else that's going to be more statistically viable. But moving on to the next thing here. We got Lamar Jackson, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Pittman Jr., TJ Hawkinson, Cooper Kupp. Just very, very strong receiving core more than anything. I do think Alvin Kamara's value is very hyperinflated right now, and I think it's if we get an update that basically says that like Derek Carr is actually like I wouldn't say playing like his old self, but is like he's healthy, I guess. Like Alvin Kamara immediately shoots out the window for me because like the biggest thing I point out with like running backs is like if their quarterback is injured or new to the league or anything along those lines, the probability at which they check down is just so much higher. And so I just would move off of Alvin Kamara and I would consider trying to like I can't see any. Well, I don't understand why you have a backup kicker on your roster. That's strange to me. Maybe that's some sort of meta thing I don't even know about. But, like, the running back room in reality is fine, but, like, that's the only spot on this team that I would say, like, hey, like, that's a spot you can really step it up a notch and, like, take a step forward, in which case I think Alvin Kamara is a sell high. Maybe throw in Zach Ertz for the guy who really needs a theoretical, consistent tight end. I don't think that's a bad idea whatsoever. Anything else for this team?
No, I think you hit the hammer.
I hit the hammer with a nail.
Yeah, you did something there. So
yeah,
I think you're good.
So as you can tell, we're getting a little tired, so these will be the last ones on this particular stream here. And then we will be back tomorrow, likely answering more of these kind of rate your teams and so on, and trying to help out accordingly. Let's see here. Derek Carr, James. Oh God, I looked at the wrong side. It's a super flex team, so I think I missed out on who your QB1 here was, unfortunately. But based off the screenshot here, but Chuba Hubbard as your RB2 is not something you want. Devo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Only one of those guys is really going to pop each week, so I guess it's balancing in terms of their overall true value. Sam Howell's fine. Holy bench quarterbacks. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't really know what this is.
Part Poo, this is you. It's one running back, 32 man.
Whoever sent me this in the Discord, DM me because I got some questions.
Yeah, like, it's apparently one running back, 32 man. I mean, if it's a 32 man, this is actually kind of cracked. Because it's like you got Diggs, who's a really strong staple. I'm assuming quarterbacks were pushed up like crazy. Because this might be super flex. We just don't see the first start like quarterback here. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't really know what to think about this team. Like, we need to know the actual settings because it's either like kind of decent or it's like what happened. But yeah, I don't really know what to say about this team. To be honest, I'm kind of at a loss for words.
Yeah, I don't think I have much help for this team in particular.
Because it's like, no, I believe you're 3-1 if it's like a one RB like 32 team. You basically said screw it for the running back position. You're going to build your depth at wide receiver. But like, yeah, I do believe that Nico Collins is going to get AJ Terrell out this week, and that's why I'm a little bit more bearish on him, Brody. It makes me think that Tank Dell is more viable. But that's a whole another conversation. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, like Tyler Boyd was basically like a smash home run as long as like Joe Burrow like can play decent enough because he's going to get like 8 targets at least in a game, which is really good for the wide receiver. And you basically did a 0 RB strat in a 1 RB format. So like, I don't know, props to you for this team, but like I also just have like questions. Like, it's just like really interesting league settings, I guess is the point I'm trying to get across. Like, having quarterback handcuffs is crazy. I would consider benching Nico for JT in this first week if we get good news about that. But moving on to the last team here. Lamar Jackson, Bijan Robinson, Aaron Jones, Stephon Diggs, and Brandon Ayuk for your top 5. With Laporte as your tight end, Alexander Madison, Nick Patriots. Okay. Dylan, Cuttable, Jameson Williams, I think is irrelevant. Dawson Knox, that's fine, but I think he's going to be cuttable soon enough. Addison, upside. Kendrick Bourne, I just don't think the snaps are there for him. And you can really sell high on CJ Stroud right now. I really think that's something that is viable to a degree. Let's see here. JC, what's your team? But it will be in the YouTube playback, so you can check it out there. In which case, like this whole hour and 30-minute long session will be there for you to look back on and tell us if we were right, wrong, or have anything along those lines. We want to make sure that like those who are either not able to participate in this specific stream, or just like want to just see what we got right and wrong as time kind of progresses here, are always able to see that. But looking at this, we got Bijan, Aaron Jones, Stephon Diggs, Brandon Ayuk. I don't really know what to think because it's like I like the team like on the top half, but I look at the bench and I'm kind of like, why? Like, there's just nothing you can really trade up for. I think just as a team, it's strong. But like, you can't trade Alexander Madison with Kendrick Bourne and expect somebody to be like, you know what, that's a good idea. Like, it's just there's nothing statistically sustainable about any of the guys that are on the bench outside of like Jordan Addison for me. How about you?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think having Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon is a nice little handcuff there. I don't mind that at all. But besides that, yeah, like Kendrick Bourne is a hole there. Same with Williams, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah. But anyways, moving off of this team, hopefully that was helpful in some facet. We have our blank, beautiful screen here. Okay, yeah, I was going to say I think we had one more that we said we were going to add here. Um, what the? Maybe it was two.
There's one of them was Bruce Banners, I
Okay,
believe.
word. All right, so we got Jordan Love, James Conner, Travis Etienne, Justin Jefferson, with Nico Collins, Sam Laporta, Alvin Kamara, Tyler Bassett, Commanders. We've been saying that Kamara's a little bit of sell high on this stream, but like this is a fine team. I like the three different running backs you have here. Like this is a spot where I want to turn this RB1 into something like truly elite. And you can kind of pick your poison on that. I think Austin Eckler is really the guy you can buy for the cheapest that has the most upside. I think Brees Hall is a guy you can be buying in on. I'm just not sold that this Alvin Kamara passing volume is sustainable. From a wide receiver standpoint, Nico Collins is great, but like that's also like you have Cooper Cup coming back, so I'm not really worried. Like this is just a good team with DK Metcalf as well. Like this is just a really good team. It's just going to take a little bit. I wouldn't say time, but like you just really need to improve that RB1 because your wide receiver 2 is really fine and your flex is pretty like balanced. I like this team. How about you?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Just from what I can see, this is my first time looking through. I was doing some Discord stuff. Yeah, no, I really like it. I think the running back room is like much stronger than it probably was going into the season, considering that Camaro was gone. So that's nice for you, someone to kind of pick up the slack that Rashad has kind of been missing a little bit. Yeah, definitely a solid team.
Yeah.
Definitely improving as well. You know.
Which RB would you trade for Etienne or Kamara? I'd be more willing to trade Kamara than I am Etienne, to be completely honest. Like, I just don't see unless if like this. I really like my first advice would look into the Derek Carr injury. I literally look up exactly what the injury he has. I'd type in that exact injury. I put it into Google and go, how long is the timeline for this respective injury? And then I'd add on a week or two for him theoretically to be fully comfortable. And like that's how long I would give Alvin Kamara's like passing volume to really be that, so to speak, sustainable. That's really my only thing with that. But like Alvin Kamara, I'm more interested in trading than I am Travis Etienne. Like James Conner, Rashad White are also like these three that I'm highlighting here are the three that I have the most interest in potentially trading to improve this spot further. But that's how it would go. Looking at the last team here, we have Jalen Hurts, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, super team in terms of receivers and quarterback. My God. James Conner, Isaiah Pacheco, and you got Puka on the flex. Jesus. Najee Harris sucks. Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Addison, Traylon Burks, Zay Flowers, Zach Charbel. I mean, in theory, the running backs is like all I'm going to point out here because your receivers are absolutely elite. Your flex technically could be better, but I also think that Puka is going to continue to be fantasy relevant moving forward, just based off of like how spacing and stuff like that works.
Yeah, and I think like the draft mishap with Najee was kind of made up for by kind of bright sides with James Conner and Isaiah Pacheco over there. So that's nice.
Exactly. Like this is a very solid team. Like the only thing in theory is like try to build up this running back core a little bit further.
Yeah.
You can really see pitch in like you need. I think the second you have Zay Flowers have a game or two where he's just like absolutely like insane, then I would potentially consider selling him high. But like I still really like Zay Flowers. Like Brandon Ayuk and Zay Flowers are technically pieces you can use from a trading standpoint to add into one of these two running backs to really take it another step forward. But you don't even really have to do that. Like this is just a very solid team. But I think that is all we have for the teams here. All right, guys.
That it is.
Appreciate all the likes, the gifts, and the follows, and everything along those lines. And if we're coming to hang out with us for a little bit, that's what you're waiting for. It's a 12 team. That's fair. Like, I hope that was helpful for you guys. We'll be posting this on YouTube pretty much immediately after this, so you guys can go ahead and check that out there. Link to that is in the bio as well. I think you just click or type in PredictionStrike. It's one of the two. And you guys can see this kind of played back there if we weren't able to get your team or you just weren't here in that time frame as well.
Also, while you're there, don't miss out on our weekly UFC podcast, which should be coming out tomorrow for this week.
Oh, yeah. those are always like they're very sharp. I think our guy David Jackson has hit his premium pick. What is it? 12 weeks in a row technically. I know we technically
Yeah,
skipped this last week because there wasn't UFC, but
he hasn't missed. Yeah, and he told me his pick for this week, and it's a lock. So
interesting. So I highly encourage you guys to go check that out. I know you may not be super involved in the UFC, but if you want to make a little extra coin, then I highly encourage listening to these guys. They really know what they're doing over there. But appreciate you guys. Make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be yelling at you guys with my initial leans for what I like for fantasy football, and then we will be doing probably another one of these later in that night. For those that we either A, didn't get to in this particular stream, or B, want to pop in alongside us as we kind of build on these more. But appreciate you guys. Hope you all do well. And for those on YouTube that are watching this as a playback, make sure you subscribe. We really appreciate it. But I appreciate y'all.